Okay.
When we first talked last week, we tried not to have this conversation because we wanted to do it live, but I did have you go out and get some measuring tools to do a better job of knowing what is your blood sugar and what is your blood ketones.
Yeah.
So, tell me, first of all, tell the audience what that meant to you. Like, why didn't you have those tools in your house before this?
I didn't have those tools because I know what I'm supposed to eat. I know the foods to stay away from. I have the pea sticks, but I haven't used them forever because I don't need them. They help me get where I'm at. Although now that I'm stuck, I'm like, do I eat even better? Do I do just absolutely super strict keto all the time and try it, or I'm just really trying to do this? But you had me get a blood ketone meter and a blood glucose meter. And of course, I'm a research person, and I chose the, what did I choose? The 4-6.
Yep.
I didn't put that, by the way, I didn't put that meter in the notes, but I will go back and put that in there because it is the only meter that I found that does glucose and ketones in the same meter. Like, you don't have to have 2 meters, and it's got this neat Bluetooth thing. So I ordered it. I got it just 3 days ago. So I was I don't like blood. I don't like to prick myself, but you know what? I am on a mission and I'm going to fix this, and I am determined, and I have a goal. So if I have to prick myself every day, once a day, twice a day, 10 times a day, then oh my God, we're going to do this.
So here's the good news is that timing, okay? I don't introduce blood checking to the newest keto. A new keto patient, I have urine strips, we have behavior, we don't count calories, we count carbs, and we look at blood pressure, we look at the things that are easy and not inflicting of pain. Going to the next level where you're at, again, it's about timing. So you're committed and you're also stuck. The solution is going to be unique. It's going to have a general theme. This is going to be what happens to patients, but you'll know exactly how to get out of this stuck by looking at your numbers. So the first thing, when you first poked your finger, how bad was it?
How bad was it?
Yeah, like
okay, you're gonna laugh because on this meter that I have, it has a dial, and I had it on the littlest dial, and I didn't even poke myself to get blood. I know, like, I'm a big chicken. So then I had to move it to number 2, and it's literally just like a little, I don't even think it's a bee sting. It's probably like a little ant bite or something. It's not bad. It's a psychological thing that happens.
Right. Yeah, well, you can have some insights to me as a mom that I make my boys. I have 3 sons. I have a foreign exchange student, and you can't live in my house without having your blood sugar checked at least a couple times in a month. And so if we're having an argument and I need to settle a score, I'll say, if your blood sugar is better than mine, then you can go. I do believe that you imprint on your children, just like Mary Poppins imprinted on me about my commitment to my community. I do think teaching my kids in the world of abundant sugar that you can test this, you can look. But I'll tell you that fear of poking yourself, they go in waves. Some months they're very brave and they do just fine. And other months you're like, oh, we've regressed. But you're not alone in having that fear. But I point it out because once people have done it a couple of times, I mean, I've walked patients with, young patients that are diabetic through how to poke their finger. And once you get past that, it really isn't that big of a stimulus. But the power of knowing where you're at, you won't have to do it forever, but it really is the key to accountability on how you're doing. And awesome. So why don't you show the group what your sugars were the first 2 times you checked them?
Okay, so here's the first one. This was, I think, before lunch. I had a 67 glucose and a 1.5 ketone.
Very good.
Yeah.
So when I look at those numbers, here's what I can see. I can see that your body is definitely keto adapted. We use something in my clinic. We talk about the ratio. And I kind of did this. I wrote about this in the book. I used some of the data that came from the cancer research They use metrics from a different country, so then you have to convert and do these other things and look at a ratio. I found that most of my patients wouldn't do that much math. More importantly, my mom, who was my #1 patient at the time, was too sick mentally to do that much math. She could take the 67, she could divide it by the other one, and then we had these ranges. And so if you take 67 divided by 1.5, what did we say that was, 40 something?
44.67 or something like that.
That is a great ratio. So it says, yep, the chances that your body is in a ketogenic state, it's really burning ketones. For that chapter right there, you're losing weight. That's a good zone. When that ratio is somewhere between 40 and 80, good job. The closer to 80 you get, the less confident I can be that you're losing weight.
And that's my next one. Let me see if I can add this up here. So that's my next one. Is I fasted. This was a morning fasting. I don't understand how I eat so well during the day, and I seem to be well during the day, but I go to sleep and then I wake up with these like barely in ketosis and 80 glucose. Like what?
Well, so let's be clear. A blood sugar of 80 when you wake up is a great sugar. It's not bad. Ketones of 1.0 are also a very good sign that you're in a ketogenic state.
Okay.
Now, that ratio, though, does give us a hint that there is insulin resistance present. Okay. So what will be telling is if you get a chance to go to my Instagram and look at my blood sugars. I do this for my patients. I think that the example of posting my sugars and my ketones has been a huge learning curve for patients, that I am a healthy 47-year-old woman that has blood sugars over 100 sometimes. And it is because I did spend a chapter of my life insulin resistant as well. And that will come back as soon as you start teasing those blood sugars with too much of a job. But let's go back to that 80. So you got up in the morning, and what time did you check that blood sugar?
I vividly remember that was 7 o'clock.
Okay, and how long had you been awake before you checked the blood sugar?
Probably 15 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to coach you that the next time you check a blood sugar in the morning, it tells me so much if you can get that very first blood sugar right away when you wake up. I put the kit next to the toilet because I sit there and say, okay, don't spend too much energy, because as soon as your body is churning, in fact, if you have that, I wake up, but I kind of fall back asleep. That part where you wake up, if you can just wake up enough to check your sugar, even just once or twice, it would be great to see what is the sugar before all that cortisol gets moving around. Cortisol is one of our stress hormones that wakes us up. And as soon as the cortisol comes into the system, it rises the blood sugar. The blood sugar is going to come from storage, whether that's a muscle cell or a liver cell. It depends on what's got the access. But most of the time, even in ketosis, it's going to come from liver cells that have extra sugar stored in it in the form of glycogen. So then
please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Stay tuned.